Hey, if you go for a jog or if you walk, you need something that is really very essential. We need energy. Not just humans, but plants also need the energy for their growth, for their repair, just like us. Now, when we talk about this energy, there is a very interesting question that I want to ask you. From where both the living organisms, be it the animals or the plants, are getting this energy? Seems like answer is pretty much simple. And the answer is food. Now, we consume food on daily basis and we know that how delicious food is and how yummy we feel about it. So, we know that the energy that we get comes from the food. So, I hope that all of you are ready to know more about it in this very interesting chapter of components of food. And we will be looking at this amazing food and its components, different types of components, and we'll be looking into all of these in detail. So I hope that all of you are ready. Welcome to the channel 6th, 7th and 8th of BYJU'S. I'm your teacher Ankita and I welcome you on this very, very interesting and super special session that we have today. It's all about the food. We'll be focusing on this. Without taking much of a time, I would request you all to have your pencil and a notebook so that you can note down all the important points that we'll be discussing in today's class. If you're new here, do take a moment and subscribe to our channel because only on this channel we provide you the best quality education. Apart from that, there's just one small request. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to like this video and please make sure to be with us till the end. And on that note, let's get started. So in this chapter, we'll be discussing about food. But what is food? Something that we see on a plate, right? The common thing will be like, Mom, something that we have on our plate. But let's put words into it, and this is how we have. Substance consumed by an organism for the nutritional value. So that is the food that we have. And when we talk about this right now, we know that what is food? The substance that we consume by an organism for the nutritional value. We have the nutrition into it and of course it adds a value to it, right? Now we consume it and we feel the energy. So let's see what we actually consume. So the question will be, why do we eat food? We already discussed that it gives us the energy. Now that is good. But in the food that we are eating, right, we have something called as nutrients. Now these are really very, very special. Now what are they? They are the substance that provide us the energy. So remember everyone, food and energy goes together. So the nutrition that are present, right, they are nothing but the substance that are present in the food and they will be providing us the energy for the growth, for our body growth, right, for the functioning and for the maintenance of the body. That's a very simple and super important definition of nutrient. Now, having said that, we have different type of nutrient that we consume on a daily basis or that are there around us. We have carbohydrates, fats, proteins, vitamins and minerals. So we can have all of them on our hand, like 5: carbohydrates, fats, protein, minerals and vitamins. Among these, there are some that we need in a larger quantity and we call them as the macronutrient. In macronutrient, we have carbohydrates, fats and protein. And vitamins and minerals fall under the category of micronutrient. That means that we require them in the less quantity. Very, very important for all of us to remember. So macronutrient required in a larger quantity and micronutrient required in a smaller quantity. Now that we are clear with that what are nutrient and of course what we have, now let's talk about each one of them individually and let's understand how they help us. We're starting with carbohydrates. Now, carbohydrates are usually called as the energy provider. They are the energy provider for the body and they provide us the instant energy. There are a few sources. We have few examples over here. We have rice, bread, potato. all of these are rich with carbohydrate. So whenever you are feeling a little bit less of low energy, you know what to grab. Moving ahead to the next, which are the fats. When we hear the word fats, right, we always get scared. Oh, they are bad. But fats are really very crucial for our body because they act as the energy reservoir. They store the energy of the body. So they are really, really very special and very crucial for the body. And there are few sources of them. We have the fats. We can actually get the fats from peanuts, ghee and butter. We all love eating ghee and butter, right? So now we know that we have to eat the fats in the right quantity and so that it's not affecting us. As a matter of fact, all the nutrient we should be consuming in the right quantity. We'll be discussing about that later, but please make sure to stay with us till the end. Now we are done with carbohydrate and fats. Now let's talk about proteins. They are the building block of the bodies. They actually help with the growth and the repair of the body. We call proteins very, very essential for the growth and the development of the body. They are present in the sources like milk, egg, paneer, meat, and we usually have a very strong notion, and which is a perfect fact about the proteins, is that when we heat these protein at a very high temperature, right, we destroy their nutritional value. So the right way to eat protein is not to heat them at a very, very high temperature. We should not be doing it, right? So this is a very interesting fact. We thought that we will share it with you. So we are done with the carbohydrates, we are done with the fats and with the proteins. Now before moving ahead to the micronutrient, I have a very interesting fact for all of us. Now I'm sure we all have seen camel and the camel hump. Now why are we talking about this over here? Because camel hump actually stores the fat. They travel in a desert for long days. They have less water and definitely less food. So the hump actually help in the storage of the fats. And these fats provide the energy to the camel, whenever there's a need of the energy, right? Whenever there's a lack of the carbohydrate, then there's no energy. These fats will be providing the energy to the camel. So that's really very important. Very interesting facts. Please make sure to note down this. Then of course, we'll be moving ahead. But before we move ahead, now there's a question that I'm sure all of you might have in your mind. Ma'am, you said carbohydrates, fats, protein. Now we have in this, let's suppose if we talk about the carbohydrates, ma'am, you said that the carbohydrates are present in rice, potato, but how we can test them? Let's see. So we'll be discussing, everyone, that how we can prove that carbohydrate, fats and proteins are present in these food items. We're starting with the carbohydrate. To find out whether the carbohydrates are present, what we will do? We will actually do a protein test. The iodine test. What we have in the iodine test? We will be taking some rice, then we'll add the iodine, and as there is a presence of the starch, the carbohydrate, we will see that the color will change blue-black. The presence of, when we have this, right, the presence of the starch is actually indicated if there's a change in color to blue and black. Means that carbohydrates are present there. Moving ahead to the fat test. It's the easiest test that we can easily do. We have a butter, we need a paper, and if we place the butter on the piece of paper, after some time what will happen? We will see a translucent spot. If that's there, we can spot that fat is present. So that's a paper test for the fat. Last but not the least, we'll be discussing about the protein test. And the test that we have for the protein is the Burette test. So of course we need a protein powder, we need the cascatic soda solution, copper sulfate solution, and after the result that we'll be getting at the end, we will get a violet colored solution. So hence this particular color solution mark the presence of the protein in the food source. So these are the tests that are there, and of course we can perform these tests, all these tests in the labs, and of course you will be learning more about them in your higher classes. Now that we are clear that these we can actually check the presence of these nutrients in the food, we have two more important nutrients that we discussed about. let's talk about the micronutrient. So here we are starting with vitamins. Now vitamins are really very essential and we're discussing more on vitamin C. So vitamin C plays a very important role in the proper functioning of the immune system. Immune system is a system that actually helps us to fight against various germs that are entering in our body and protect our body. Apart from that, it actually helps in the growth and the repair of the body, help in the synthesis of collagen, and heals the wound. This is really very important. So vitamin C is really very important, and from where we can get the vitamin C? With all the yummy citrus fruits that we have in our surrounding. A kiwi, orange, so please make sure to consume them. Apart from the vitamin C, it's not that we just have vitamin C. We have other vitamins, and apart from vitamin C, let's discuss about vitamin D. So here we have vitamin D and the benefits are huge. So it actually helps in the deposition of calcium in our bones, and because of that we have strong bones. And not just the bones, and teeth also. And it actually helps in the mineralization of teeth and the bone. So vitamin D plays a very important role in strengthening our bones and our teeth. And from where we can get it? We can get it from the milk, butter, and from the fish meat. So we know that vitamins are super important. We have discussed about the vitamin C and vitamin D. Now it's time for us to discuss about the minerals. So here we have the minerals. Now, minerals are something that are present in vegetables. I'm sure you have heard about your parents telling you to eat the green vegetables, leafy vegetables, and hence they know that minerals are there. So minerals are the inorganic elements that are required in a very small quantity, but they are very, very essential for the functioning of the body. They actually help in maintaining good health and a proper body function. We can get minerals from a different plant and animal resources. We have calcium, right, which is really essential for our body. We can get the calcium from the egg, and if we are drinking milk. If we need iron, we should be, eating peas, and of course taking a little bit of salt that we usually do. Then of course for iron, spinach is really very essential, and of course other meat items that we have over here. So that actually help us to provide those minerals. So till now, if we look at it, we have kind of discussed about all the important nutrients. We have discussed about carbohydrates, fat, proteins, minerals, and vitamins. Now what further we'll be looking ahead is two important items which don't have that much, or we'll say no nutritional value. They don't have any great contribution to it, but they're really very essential, and those are roughage and water. So they don't add any nutritional value to it, but they're really very essential. When we talk about the roughage, they actually help us in clearing out the undigested food from our body. They're very, very important. And from where we can get this roughage? Well, if you're eating the whole grains, pulses, potato, fresh fruits, and vegetables. And for the water, we don't have to tell, it's really very important. It actually helps in absorption of nutrient and removal of the waste from the body. And we can get water from water, of course, milk, tea, fruits, tomatoes, orange, cucumber, etc. So we know that water and roughage are essential, even though they don't have any nutritional value, but they plays a very important role in well maintaining and well functioning of the body. So these two are very, very essential. Now that we are done with discussing all of these things, there's one question that I would like to ask you. Now, let's suppose you're having lunch, right? And you have dal and chapati. Now you look at it and you see that, okay, from chapati I can have the carbohydrates, and from the dal I can have the proteins. But what about fats? What about minerals? What about vitamins? For that, we have to look at the plate as a complete, a way to achieve a balanced diet where we have everything. And as as when we are growing, and of course not just the growing, when we are growing, and of course at every point of time we should be consuming the balanced diet. Now what is a balanced diet? So the balanced diet is a diet that consists of all the vital nutrition like protein, carbohydrate, fats, vitamins, minerals, water, and fibers all together that we have discussed. And of course it includes dal, chapati, rice, meat, milk, nuts, fruits, vegetables, etc. So next time when you're looking at your plate, right, try to find all of these nutrition. look for protein, fat, carbohydrates, vitamin and minerals, roughage, and of course the water. Now, if you're consuming all of this, we have a balanced diet, and once we have a balanced diet, we have a healthy body. Just in case, if we are not consuming any of these important nutrients, the person, or might in future if you're not consuming, we might suffer from various deficiency disease. We will be discussing more about it, and here we go. So deficiency diseases are those diseases that are caused due to the lack of nutrient over a long period of time. So let's suppose if this individual over here was not consuming a balanced diet, or there was deficiency of nutrient in his diet for the longest period of time, and unfortunately in the future this person over here might suffer from any of the deficiency diseases that we'll be discussing now. So let's discuss about it. We are starting with the deficiency diseases if a person is not consuming carbohydrate or the fat. So one of the common thing that we can see in an individual if they are not consuming fats or carbohydrate is that they have a very weak body, a lot of hair fall and dry skin. There are a lot of diseases that are caused due to the deficiency of protein. We'll see the growth of the individual is not happening properly. They will have stunted growth. There's a decoloration of the hair, and they can suffer from diarrhea. So these are some of the deficiencies of protein. That's the kind of the symptoms of the diseases that we'll see. Let's talk about vitamins now. Now, one of the common thing I'm sure your parents will be telling you, right? Please make sure your eyes are super healthy. And how? By eating lots of nutrient, lots of food that is rich with vitamin A, right, which provides you that particular nutrient. So vitamin A, if there's a deficiency of vitamin A in the individual, they might suffer from night blindness. It's a vision in the night, right? It gets blurred due to the low light. Over here we have the clear vision in the low light, and over here in this particular image we have a vision which is very blurred in low light. So vitamin A plays a very important role in keeping our eyes healthy. Moving ahead, let's talk about the deficiency of vitamin B. Over here we have a normal muscles in an individual, and over here we have a disease which is caused due to the deficiency of vitamin B. That the disease name is beriberi. So the beriberi affects the heart and weakens the muscle. It can lead to the heart failure, right, of the individual. It causes tingling in the finger, sometimes in hand, and abnormal eye movement. So sometimes if there's tingling in the fingers, right, and hand, some of these are some symptoms that we have for the deficiency of vitamin B. Then we have very interesting vitamin C. We discussed about that. It's really very important to keep our body, to keep our body healthy, protect us from the various germs, right? Apart from that, the deficiency of vitamin C can cause a disease called as scurvy. Now, what happens in the scurvy is the bleeding gums. So, of course, if there's a deficiency of vitamin C, first of all, our immune system will get really very, it will not be able to protect us. The defense will get really very weakened, and probably will get really, will get sick really very easily. Apart from that, in scurvy, what we see that there will be the bleeding gums, right? And we can see the, skin, the gum skin will be bleeding, and that can cause a lot of issues, right? So definitely we should be consuming the vitamin C. Then of course we have the last but not the least, vitamin D. Vitamin D, we know that it actually helps us to strengthen our bones and our teeth. So if there's a deficiency of vitamin D in an individual, the person will suffer from a disease called as rickets. Now what happened, right, we can see this is the normal bone structure. And over here we can see the bones are weakened, and because of that, the posture or the whole structure of the individual will change. Now the bones will be really very weak, the person will not feel very comfortable in walking, right? So in the children, and adults, of course, we have another name in the adults and rickets in the children. It causes softening of the bones and bending of the bones, and the bones break really very easily. So these are the important things that we should consider, right? We know that vitamin D is super important, so we should be consuming more of milk. We should be eating more of the resources that can actually provide us vitamin D. And not just the vitamin D, but vitamin A, K, B, all of these vitamins and minerals are important. We should be consuming a balanced diet that give us all the nutrient at one place. With this, we are actually done with this interesting session. I hope that you have enjoyed this session. If you have enjoyed this session, everyone, please make sure to hit the like button for the video, share with your friends and subscribe to this amazing channel. We will be meeting you really very soon. Till that time, do take care of yourself and keep on learning with BYJU'S.